Hello and welcome to the podcast. I actually hadn't expected to be talking about Keir Starmer so soon after making the last video, but events are unfolding at a bit of a pace because, as we'll see from this article, MPs will debate an online petition calling for a rerun of July's general election after it garnered over 2.8 million signatures and rising. A debate's been scheduled for the 6th of January 2025. It won't lead to another election. I think most people know that, but was used by Tory leader Kemi Badenoch to taunt Sir Keir Starmer during Prime Minister's questions, and I'll play you a clip of that soon. Although this won't lead to another election directly, the number of signatures on the petition, I think it is important that those people who feel disgruntled do sign it, because it's a signal. And as we'll see from one of the clips that I'm going to play you, it's, well, the higher that number, the better I think the quality of the debates are likely to be, and probably the better the quality specifically on the 6th of January. But this is important. If you think that the way Keir is leading is taking us a little bit off course, that's perhaps putting it politely as far as some people are concerned. Let me take you to this headline here, where it says, from the BBC, Rachel Reeves, I'm not going to say Rachel from accounts, something like that childish, tells firms no more tax rises as she defends budget. Chancellor Rachel Reeves has told businesses she's not coming back with more borrowing or more taxes as she defended the tax rises on businesses announced in the budget. Let's then look at this clip.
The Chancellor said, and I quote, "I'm clear. I'm not coming back with more borrowing or more taxes. I know that telling the truth to this House is important to the Prime Minister. So will he repeat his Chancellor's pledge now?"
Mr. Speaker, we set out our position at the budget that was just set out. We're fixing the foundations. We're dealing with the £22 billion black hole that they left. I'm not going to write the next 5 years of budgets here at this dispatch box. But, Mr. Speaker, we said we wouldn't hit the pay slips of working people.
So Keir doesn't confirm or deny. Although he kind of denies, doesn't he? Doesn't answer the question, just talks about fixing the foundations, which is one of those phrases that I expect we'll hear from him again and again. I think he quite likes it. And yet we have a situation where Rachel Reeves has said no more borrowing, no more taxes. Are these two working together, or is this just kind of playing, you know, bad cop and badder cop? I don't know, but it doesn't seem to be as if it's joined up thinking. But it could also be a cunning plan to allow them to do such a thing, to salve the wounds of the CBI, which I think is where Rachel was speaking, whilst at the same time allowing Keir the room to not adhere to her promise or promises. Things that make you go, Then let's look at this debate.
Mr. Speaker, if he wants to know what Conservatives would do, he should resign and find out. Until then...
I'll decide when there's more.
Mr. Speaker, until then, I'm the one asking the questions. There's a petition out there, 2 million people asking him to go. He's the one who doesn't know. He's the one who doesn't know how things work. It is not government that creates growth, Mr. Speaker. It is business. His employment secretary, I don't see her here, she wants more young people in work. But businesses say they are cutting jobs because of the Chancellor's budget. His Deputy Prime Minister, she is not here. Her employment rights bill will stop businesses hiring. That's what they say. The CBI The CBI said on Monday that the dots of the government's policy don't join up. They're right, aren't they?
Mr. Speaker, on Monday she said that she wouldn't reverse the increase in national insurance. Yesterday, on their legacy legislation, their predecessor, they couldn't decide what their position was. Today, they've launched a policy commission asking other people to give them some ideas for government. And she talks about a petition. We had a massive petition on the 4th of July in this country.
We had a massive petition on the 4th of July. Couple of observations there then. Keir seems to be beginning to enjoy himself. He has mentioned that it's easier to be in power, as he describes it. And also, it's almost as I can't say arrogance, perhaps cockiness to his demeanour. So he appears to be conflating two separate things. And what I mean by that is he's talking about how many people voted for Labour against a petition which is still in its early days. One of the reasons that I think a lot more people need to sign it, and I think a lot more people will sign it. Otherwise, he's just going to think it's okay to steamroller on and pay no attention, it would seem, to what the vast majority of the population would like. Or would that be populism and therefore a sin? Let's then look at this.
What a load of nonsense, Mr. Speaker. We had a budget in March this year and tractors were not blockading the streets of Whitehall afterwards. So let me give him another example of a real business. Following his budget, the head of McVitie's has said that it has been harder to understand what the case for investment in the UK is. So while the Prime Minister has been hobnobbing in Brazil, businesses have been struggling to digest his budget. Isn't it the case, Mr. Speaker, that the Employment Rights Bill shows that it is not only the ginger nut that is causing him problems?
And hats off to Kemi for using a real-life example to counter that often woolly, obfuscating, deflecting language that Keir and so many politicians employ. Kemi was also using humour, which I like. I like that type of humour. Puns, plays on words, it's clever, it's effective, but I'm not sure that she also needed something else of substance in that counter to Keir. In fact, I think on reflection, it would have been better if she had added something else in. And here's a thought to finish up. I know that when MPs debate, they've got certain protections that people in the street don't have in terms of what they can say, or at least I believe they have. And that being the case, you may have to be careful, Kemi. The ginger nut, well, you see, if Keir has his way in terms of a highly legislated population with the potential for everything to be a bit of a non-crime hate incident, then you could find yourself, unless you and your party do something about it, in a country where, well, you just can't say that about gingers. Oh, for the record, I like red hair. That's me safe. Is that okay, Keir?